What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we have something very exciting. We're gonna teach you how to speak like a skateboarder. Skateboarders tend to have many crazy, very weird sounding, strange terms, and it can be a bit daunting, so we're gonna break them all down for you on this amazing list of skateboarder terms.
All right, for the love. For the love is it kind of brings me back to a time where it was 2005 through 2007 because it's so crazy. Like, I really gotta say, like, emphasize how crazy it is. Back when I was 14, 15, we weren't filming like our skate tricks, so I tried this 10 stair for like 30 minutes, and every time it would be like, right here, for the love. And at the time, I didn't even know I loved skateboarding, but just let you know, I fell in love with skateboarding because it was for the love. So honestly, this is just subjective and what your perspective is on for the love, but just for the passion, you know, love.
Snake. So you might be thinking a snake is like the reptile. No, it's not. Snake is when somebody steals your turn, or you're about to drop in on a ramp and then somebody goes right before you, and then you're like, bro, why'd you do that? You're a snake. And I used to get snaked a lot because I was a young kid and I wouldn't drop in fast enough, so everyone would go right in front of me, especially when you're doing contests. Most of the time you're always gonna get snaked, so make sure you don't be a snake. And yeah, snakes are just like the real things. They're scary.
All right, bodied. That is when you're doing a skate trick and you fail and you get annihilated. So you're trying to trick, you're going kind of fast, you don't land back on the board, and you kind of just slam your body into the ground. That's what, you know, getting bodied means. We try to avoid getting bodied at all costs. It's not very fun. Hyped. If you're hyped, it's pretty much the same as the normal definition. Let's say your homie's over there at the 5 stair on the streets filming for his video part. He knocks down a tray double flip. You are gonna be hyped for him, and they're gonna be hyped that they landed the trick. Hype is just getting excited, just bringing all the emotion out. Skating takes so much energy and so much mental just fortitude that sometimes when you land that trick, all you can do is unleash the hype, unleash the excitement, and get ready for the next one.
Stomped is like if you do a trick, especially if you do it down something and you land and it's like a solid landing, there's no question about it, it's clean, and it was kind of like a bigger impact than normal, which is usually why it's like off of things. You'd be like, oh, you stomped that. You can, people can say it on flat, but usually if someone says you stomped something on flat, it's because you just stomped down like super hard with your feet, like. But most of the time, yeah, it's off like a drop or something, and you land it clean.
Mole grab. Now, mole grab is when you grab onto the board from the truck, just like this. I believe the origins of this were from skateboarders at the local mall. They were hanging out, and core skateboarders kind of saw them and thought that they weren't really that into skating, that they kind of just had the boards to just sort of look cool and use it, just not really to skate on it, but just to have it as kind of an accessory, and that is the origin of mole grab.
Flow. A flow skateboarder is me. It's being sponsored, but not pro yet. You just got to keep working hard. And flow, you get a bunch of things, but you're not pro yet. But hey, if you're flow, keep on pushing. You could go pro. Bam.
Skate God. This one's like pretty cool. I usually like to think that this is just something that all skaters have like a concept, like they're looking over us, or, you know, first try type thing. There's like security guards, there's all these things in the world, and then there's just like the skate gods that are right here helping you make the vision happen. You know that whenever you're like, the best way I could explain it is I do a trick and then all these tricks come out of nowhere from the sky. It's like the cloud. That's the skate gods giving you those concepts so you can make them happen. They're blessing you. It's the skate gods. And then there's another version of skate god. And if you don't know, then shame on you. Lance.
Hesh. Woo, that's a big word right there, man. There's some Hesh skaters. There's some YouTube skaters. There's some park skaters. There's some Hesh skaters. Hesh skaters means, hey man, you're a little more rougher than the others, man. When you get Hesh means, man, maybe you like to go a little faster than others. I think Hesh means you're going all out, man. A Hesh means like, oh, that's a Hesh dude, man. That means he's willing to put it all on the line, man. He's willing to skate the big rail. He's willing to skate the big stairs. Hesh skaters, hey, shout out all y'all Hesh skaters. If y'all don't even call yourself Hesh skaters, whatever, don't take it offensive, because just know if anyone's saying you're a Hesh skater, hey, that's a good sign, because that means you like to send it, and it is all about sending sometimes. So, hey, Hesh skaters, bowl skater, street skater, whatever you want to be called, so be it. Bam, that is Hesh skater.
Switch. This is in regards to your stance. You either naturally skate regular or goofy, and I skate regular, so if I was to skate goofy, that would be switch. So it's basically like, you know how in baseball there's switch hitting, so you typically swing like that, but you swing like that, that's switch hitting. So it's the same with skateboarding, it's just you're doing stuff in the opposite stance.
Skate or die? See, I have a different definition of skate or die. Skate or die is just like you are so just in love with skating. You are down for skating. Skate or die is you just have that skate lifestyle. You're skating or dying, literally, right? I mean, that's how I see it.
That's what it means.
Yeah,
You either skate
it's just,
or you die.
Yeah, it's just, your life is skateboarding, and that's it. You just love to skate, and that's what's important to you. That's what you love. Skate or die, it's a lifestyle.
You either skate or you die.
Skate stoppers are like, if you go to a spot that would normally, like there'd be ledges that you could skate and they'd be really good to skate, but instead you go and you see they got these little metal clamps like this on the edge of ledges, or they are on rails too. They're like round on rails. There's companies that put little metal bands around ledges and rails so that skateboarders don't skate them. It's our worst enemy is the skate stoppers, but it's just kind of part of it. You just gotta find a different spot.
Bail. You might have heard bail. It has nothing to do with the legal system. No one's getting out of anything. Typically what a bail means is you try to do a trick and you are unsuccessful. It doesn't necessarily mean you smack down into the ground, but it means you were not successful in landing your trick.
Pinch. All right, pinch goes a lot of ways here. There's crosslock, there's hillside. What those two mean, crosslock's when your rail's on the trucks and it's a little crooked and you could grind a little longer, but some say hillside you could grind a little longer too. Whatever floats your boat, whatever you think it is. I tend to pinch a lot of my tricks, just saying. Some people, the whole team pinches all the tricks, so hey, that's pinch.
This one, I still have like a hard time finding the meaning, but pro is very subjective, and pro can mean many things. You do everything first try, you do the craziest things, automatic level pro, but then it's like they're probably legendary and it surpasses pro. So what is a pro? A lot of people say that you get paid and that's your profession. So honestly, I haven't found the answer yet, so maybe you can let me know the answer in the comments below. Pro. My colleagues have said that there's two definitions of pro skateboarders: getting paid and your name is on a board.
All right, tweaked. So tweaked is actually a very good term for vert, at least. And tweaked basically means you take your knees or any part of your body and you just put it all the way down onto the board. So say you're doing in the air and then you want to tweak it, go like, that's a tweak. When you tweak it, most of the time, everyone likes it way more. And especially if you're doing any kind of indie grab or any vert tricks. On street, I feel like the only thing that you can really tweak is when you do like a kickflip or something, and then your legs just go sideways, and it looks like you're doing yoga mid-air. Like you're literally doing yoga mid-air. That's what a tweak is, in my opinion.
All right, grind. So some people would say if you're working hard day and night, week in, week out, you're on the grind. But in skateboarding, it is when you grind, you're basically gliding along an obstacle with these two pieces of your skateboard, the trucks. And it could be one truck, two trucks, both trucks, but anything using this part on the edge of an obstacle is a grind.
Freestyle. Freestyle skating is a really, really specific but really fun type of skateboarding. It differs from street skating where you're hitting obstacles like stairs and handrails, and it differs from vert skating where you're skating a giant vert ramp. Freestyle skating is typically on flat ground and you utilize your hands and you utilize hand flips and pogos where you're balancing on the board. It's a very specific but very creative type of skating that's actually really, really beautiful to watch. So shout out Mike Osterman for that one.
Saying something is gnarly, it's just saying something was like high risk, or saying something was, I guess you could use it two ways. You could say that like that was cool, or you can say like that was like difficult looking and cool. You'd say that was gnarly. Or if it's like extra sketchy looking, like it was dangerous or something, you can say that was gnarly.
Mongo, personal favorite of mine. Now, I guess mongo is a very simple definition. It means instead of pushing the board with your rear foot, it means pushing the board with your front foot. People tend to make this word up because the way that it looks a little bit different. It stands out quite a lot, and they have labeled this mongo.
Steezy. I mean, y'all could all really know what kind of that means. That's when you land your tricks a little extra buttery. Sometimes you get an extra pop and you land with your knees a little more bent. That's what you get, a little steezy. We all get that feeling when we skate, and even with anything, when you do something better, you feel a little bit better, and that's steezy.
Trucks. You may hear the word truck all the time. It is not a Tonka truck. It is not a giant truck out there. It is actually the part of the skateboard that connects the wheels, that does the turning system. That's pretty straightforward.
Getting bucked. That means like, man, I'm about to send it. Getting bucks, like, man, you see a big stair, you can't just go into a big stair with zero energy. You gotta get bucked. You gotta feel it. It means to get rowdy. You gotta just send it, go for it. That is what, when you hear a skater say, I'm about to get bucked, just know they're about to go hard and they're about to go for it no matter what.
All three of these are literally kind of similar, but they're kind of not. Ender. If you've seen a video part where it's like street skating and it's someone's amazing last trick, that's their ender. And they put so much thought into that last trick to make it a wow factor. It also comes down to, is it a hammer? Is it a banger? Now let me tell you the definitions of what I think. So hammers, that could actually be anything, honestly. It's like you challenging yourself and pushing yourself out of your boundaries. And then once you overcome it, that's a hammer. Because you hammered it down. It's like a nail. You know, like you have the nail right there and you're like, clack, clack, clack. You nailed it down. It's a hammer. You got the hammer. A banger is something where you've been like manifesting this thing. It's been on your mind and you finally bang it out. For instance, something that took me a long time was a nollie heel off of this big grass gap. I went back probably like 14 times. And when I got done, it was a banger. I was hyped, I ran, I screamed. Energy all over the world. Like I felt it. It was like Goku's spirit bomb. All like, ugh! All three: ender, banger, hammer.
Sketchy. So sketchy is one of the most hated things in my opinion for me, because whenever I do something sketchy, I usually have to do it again, which I never like to do, especially if it's a brand new trick and I don't feel like trying it again. When you land something sketchy, basically it means it looked very bad, felt very bad, didn't look good. You did a toe drag, which you'll be learning what a toe drag is a little bit later. And sketchy is definitely not the best thing. But some people actually like it. There's a lot of skaters who have a sketchy style, and it makes them kind of more Hesh, I guess. And people either enjoy it more or hate it more.
Toe drag. So toe drag is when you're doing a skate trick and you know, one of your feet kind of lands halfway on the board and the other half is on the ground. And we call that toe drag because literally if you're rolling and half your foot's hanging off the board when you land, your toe is dragging across the ground. Now in games of skate, that is very looked down upon when you're setting your trick. Sometimes it's a pass when you're defending your trick. So we try to avoid toe drag. You want to get your whole foot, your whole feet, both your feet completely on the board, none of it hanging off, touching the ground. Your whole feet.
Focus. Focus is not when you're sitting here thinking of how to describe what a focus is. No, focus is when you are angry. You have the rage of 1,000 suns within you. You're not landing your trick. You're just having a bad day. And the only thing you can think to do is just, focus, stomp, break that board in half and shatter it into a billion pieces. Focusing your skateboard means you stomp it or you find a way to break it in half. It's up to you. You can get creative with it.
All right, send it. Send it. Full send university, send city. You just send it is when you don't care what the risk is. You don't care what happens. You're just going to go for it and whatever happens, happens.
NBD and ABD. These fantastic acronyms could be a little bit confusing. Maybe they're the same thing. No, they are not. What NBD refers to is never been done. Typically what that means is when someone is inventing a new skateboard trick or doing something that has never happened before. So maybe someone wants to do an ollie and then 10 kickflips and land it, well that would be an NBD. ABD, very similar, it means already being done. So maybe you go to a particular set of stairs and you say, I would love to ollie this stair set, has it been done? And someone says, that's ABD, it's already been done.
Sketch. There's many different ways you could sketch something. It could be a car, it could be your friend riding a bike, it could be a rollerblader, it could be a one-wheeler, because shout out all the one-wheelers out there. Sketch is when you hold on and you just get sketched, someone pulls you out like that. Oh, was sketch the one wheel. Shout out all the one wheels, and shout out all the people that let you sketch. Sometimes people don't let you sketch, that's all right. Get up out of there because you don't want anything to happen. But sketching is cool when your friends let you.
In my life, I've done like probably one of the gnarliest credit cards. I credit carded a skateboard off of a 13 stair, and thank goodness that the skateboard broke, because if it didn't break, I probably wouldn't be here. So shout out to my skateboard, because it broke. So I credit carded a board, and that's whenever like it goes like on the side of you, and it's really painful. I don't wish that pain upon anybody. So if I'm a survivor from that, I just want to let you know, you don't want the credit card, you want the debit card. I'm kidding, you don't want neither. My colleague right here, JD, Justin Daniels, just explained to me what a credit card is. I have not credit carded a board, but I have popsicled a board down a 13 stair, which it is excruciating pain, and I do not wish that upon anybody. And then I have sacked handrails. Sacking handrails is just as painful as credit carding them. These are all painful. I don't even know why I'm talking about them. Credit card, popsicle are all separate from sacking. Sacking is usually you're skating a handrail, maybe even a hubba, like a thin hubba. What tends to happen is your board somehow is away from you. And let's say this is the handrail right here. Both your legs go in between and you just sack it. It's painful. Once again, a lot of these things are painful, and it all has to do with confidence, or like that attempt, how it goes, or whatever your surroundings are. You want to be very confident. So do your best to train and go beyond. You know, Buzz Lightyear said it, to infinity and beyond.
Last try. This is one of my favorite ones. You may very often hear people at the skate park in the street saying, this shot, last try, one more try. What all of these words mean, it means I will stay here, we will continue to stay here until I land this trick. I don't care if it takes all day, I don't care if it takes all night, but last shot means I'm landing this trick no matter what.
Robbed. There's many different ways you could go with this. Getting robbed is, man, oh, it's a terrible feeling, because you could be trying to trick for so long and you're gonna hear a skater get up and say, man, I'm keep on getting robbed. Or you get mad and you hear getting robbed. That means in skateboarding world, you landed on it and you slipped off, or you landed on it, got wheeled by, or you landed bolts perfect and somehow you just fell off, man. That's getting robbed. That's one of the worst feelings in skating. It tends to always happens to all the skaters out there. So if you ever hear, oh man, I got robbed skating, it's tendency he was trying to trick and he was just getting so close, but he just couldn't pull it off. It's all good. So when you hear that, it's all right.
Hill bomb. Now, hill bomb, it has nothing to do with explosions, it has nothing to do with heavy artillery. It is basically the act of riding your skateboard down a slope or a hill. Typically what it refers to is that you don't slow down and that you just continue to have all your speed all the way to the bottom of the hill.
Hot Pocket. Now you might be thinking of the delicious pizza treat, but it is the exact opposite of that. It is not delicious, it is not hot, and it is, I guess, a little bit of the pocket. So a hot pocket is when you hurt your foot and you land on the board kind of on the edge, and then your foot goes like really fast. And then the back of your leg starts hurting, and it does not feel like a hot pocket. It feels like a knot pocket. And the only reason why I think they call it hot pocket is because most of the time it happens in the pocket of your skateboard, which is right before the tail and the flat, where there's like no concave. But other than that, I don't know why they call it hot. It's not a hot thing to do.
Razor tail. Now, if you do a lot of manuals, you're probably, aware of what a razor tail is when it comes to skating. And I just set up a new board, so I don't have one. But basically, when you're manualing, sometimes you fail and your tail drags. Now, if you do that enough times, this will actually wear down so thin that it can actually be sharp. It can be kind of dangerous, you know, the board can run into your shin, you can credit card it on that, but that is razor tail. It basically, when you scrape it so much, it becomes a really sharp edge.
A revert is very simple when it comes to skateboarding. Basically, it is just a quick pivot in a certain direction. Let's say you are goofy, you're riding that way. A revert is when you do a quick 180-degree turn and end up riding the opposite direction. Or if you want to just get dirty like me in a game of skate, you can add it to a trick. So you can do, for example, like Aaron does, is you do a tray flip, you land on the nose, and then you do a 180 rotation late after the trick is already done. Yeah, and Chris McNugget wanted me to reiterate that it is not necessarily a pop 180, like a frontside or backside 180. It is more like a 180 power slide or like a late pivot, not like a pop.
Video part. Now, I like this one very much, but what the term video part means is that you typically have this section in a video. It's roughly about 3 minutes. It's usually about one song of all your best street skateboarding compiled to music, no talking, nothing, just street skateboarding, skateboarding, skateboarding. That is typically what a video part refers to. But I will quote my good friend Tony Hawk, and he says, hey, we're living in the 2000s, we're living in 2022. How is it a video part? If you just release one video, what is it a part of? It's not a part anymore, it's just a video. So I found that very interesting, but that is a video part.
All right, buttery. This is a great adjective in skateboarding. It could be used to refer to how slick a ledge is, a rail, or somebody's style when they're skating. They look really buttery when they do their tricks, or their tray flip is buttery. It's like a compliment. If you're gonna say somebody skates buttery, that's like you kind of praising their skating and how smooth it looks. And if you're talking about an obstacle, it's a good thing if the ledge is buttery or the rail is buttery. That means when you're going to do tricks on it, you're not gonna stick. You're just gonna slide and glide all nice and, you know, buttery.
Hardware. Now, you know about hardware. Is it something at Bunnings Warehouse? Is it something at Home Depot? No. Hardware actually refers to the bolts that hold the trucks, the turning system of the skateboard in place.
Wheel bite. Now that is when your wheel bites the deck on impact. So if you skate really loose trucks or even medium trucks and you're skating a big drop, sometimes when you land on one side of the board, it'll actually compress the truck bushings to make the wheel hit the deck, and that can actually stop you because obviously the wheel's coming into contact with the board. So that's pretty much what wheel bite is. Typically, if you see somebody's old skateboard or a skateboard they've used, you'll see the wheel bite marks right here if they jump down stuff. Fix for that is you can actually wax that part under your wheel on the deck, and it can help you from stopping when you wheel bite. Yeah, if you have really tight trucks, you don't have to worry about it so much, but it's mostly if you're skating big stuff and you have loose trucks.
That brings me to the next one, bolts. You say, well, you have hardware and bolts. Bolts means the bolts, and you are incorrect. Bolts means when you land a trick so perfectly clean that your feet cover over the hardware so elegantly that it's a perfect land. So when you see someone land something nice, you say, that was bolts.
Primo can be the worst and the best thing to ever happen to skateboarding. Primo can be known as a freestyle trick, which means you go from your board straight like this, and then you land with your feet like that. Now that's the good way if you do it on purpose, but if you do it on accident, your feet are done for the day, unless you got some good insoles or something, because most of the time when you land primo, your skate session is done, or you don't want to try that trick during the day anymore. I get primoed all the time. You might have seen in some of the Braille videos I say primo sucks, and it definitely does suck, because not only you land primo, but sometimes you land primo so your feet hurt, and then the board slips out from under you and you land smack dab on your butt and you just can't sit down correctly.
YouTube skater. You're looking at one. No, I'm just kidding. A YouTube skater is kind of like a made up thing in the skate community. It's basically like saying, hey, you make skateboarding videos on YouTube, that makes you a YouTube skater, and it's meant to be an insult when really it is the greatest compliment you can give anyone, because YouTube skaters are killing it.
Goofy and regular. These terms determine how you are standing on the board. Are you standing with your left foot forward? Are you standing with your right foot forward when you ride? That is as simple as it is. I believe the origins for Goofy were they were watching the Disney cartoon of actual Goofy, and he was surfing, and the way that he would ride the surfboard was with his right foot forward. So then the surfers would be like, how do you surf? Goofy or non-goofy? And then that is how the term goofy came into existence. Yeah.
Sticky is not a good thing in real life and even on skateboarding. As you know, in real life, when something is sticky, usually it sticks to your fingers and you don't like that. That's the same thing with skateboarding. So you're skating a ledge or a rail, and you get stuck on it and your board stays behind you. Well, you go flying to another universe because it's so sticky. And when that happens, that means you gotta put on some wax that you won't fly to another dimension.
Poser, definition number 1. Gabe Cruz. Definition, I can't even talk right now. That's what I get.
Try to roast me and then mess up like
I know,
that.
hold on.
All right, poser. You're looking at one. A poser is someone that wants to look like a skater, wants to dress like a skater, wants to be like a skater, but they do not skate. Yeah, we just want to make sure that if you are a beginner skater and you're just learning how to skate, you are not a poser. Just don't get it twisted.
We hope that that has been very educational, a lot of clarifying, and we hope you have a better understanding of skateboarding. Feel free to use these terms as much as you possibly can and go out there, have some fun skating and enjoy skateboarding for everything that it's worth. There are some videos right there. Subscribe, like, leave it in the comments below. We want you to learn how to skateboard, and there's everything you need on the Braille Army Plus membership.